I just want to talk about one of the most significant things with content creation. And I think it's what sets some people apart from others. Only because I've literally just I've just recognized something and I thought, yeah, that's not really fair burden to put on yourself. It's just I'm truly exhausted. And I just think it's that holding ourselves accountable. So always pushing forward. It's like a relentless energy, a drive to succeed, if you like, a willpower. Even if there's no real valid reason to do so. So, for instance, you might look and think, but again, this is what I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute, why am I putting myself under so much pressure to do that when realistically it's probably not going to achieve anything anyway? But yet we sacrifice time and time again. And that's what I do. And obviously, at the moment it would seem pointless, but I can't help but think if you're successful in the future, a lot of it, yeah, okay, it will come down to a talent. It will come down to something obviously that sets you apart. But a huge contributing factor was the fact that you always kept going. And that's why the content exists, because you was always accountable. So I know it seems so trivial and so maybe so simple, but there's so many times when you're having to throw yourself across the line, There's times when, you would like nothing more than just to relax, chill out and do something else at times. Like, for instance, I was watching sport. I was enjoying myself pretty much. I thought I feel a bit tired. I don't know. My sleep schedule's all over the place, by the way. And I thought I'd had enough sleep, but I'd had adequate sleep, so I shouldn't really feel like that. And so I'm like, I had to come upstairs, lay on the bed. It wasn't like a proper sleep, I'm trying to fight it. So I'm still using my phone, trying to chill out, just trying to rest in a sense, trying to learn this medium thing where you're trying to rest, but you're not resting, but you think you are. And I probably shut my eyes for a bit. And so I'm in this delirium state where you're really tired and you effectively your body's telling you to sleep, but your mind's telling you've got things to do. And it's a weird state considering it's late at night anyway. So you should just go to sleep. So I've been thinking about recently doing little cuts of my videos, like little shorts. So you've got YouTube Shorts, for instance, which is it's identical to TikTok. And a lot of time I do get a bit fed up with the process of doing that. Like, for instance, if I've created the video, I just think the audience should be able to just watch the video. So some videos I put timestamps on, some I don't bother. It's a whole process, I've already done the content. I know some people, if they don't see timestamps, they're not interested. But then the way I see it is my content isn't for them, because I'd rather people just watch from the beginning through to the end anyway. But no, sometimes I think it's a good idea. And like I said, sometimes, I get it. It takes snippets of the videos and it'll give it more of a punch. There'll be specific sections where maybe that was really relevant. Put that as a YouTube short and a TikTok. So I'm doing that process at the moment. But again, it's so time consuming. It's video editing effectively. So I already earmarked that I need to get some YouTube Shorts edited. There are various ways you can do that, of course, but I prefer just to do it the best way possible, and that's actually use a video editor. Keep the quality as high as you can, so you don't sort of like degrade it. Again, that's a whole process, of course. And then I couldn't help but think for myself, like, wait a minute, even if you stay up, why not instead of just relaxing and enjoying yourself, have a little bit of light entertainment and just chill? You're going to keep working. But it's like, yeah, I've got things to do. And again, like I was saying, is like I could do the whole process of these shorts and these for the things for TikTok and the YouTube short thing, and it probably won't even get any attention, because the problem with those platforms, yeah, you do get more views, but half the time it's brief. It's just people scrolling on. They didn't ask to see it. It's like scroll, scroll, scroll. It just comes up on the scroll, doesn't it? So it's not really sort of analytically, it's not really the best margin. So you couldn't say that one has a lot more views than that one. It must be more successful. That's not the case at all. So a lot of time you just think, is it even worth the process? But here I am sitting there just after I finish this, get myself a hot drink, like nearly midnight, and here I am going to start editing some shorts when realistically I should be resting, go to sleep, or if you're not going to sleep, I should at least be relaxing and chilling out. But instead it's just work, 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 and it's just a bit mad, really, isn't it? But I just thought, wait a minute, that might be what sets you apart. Because some people, they don't have that commitment. They don't have that drive to succeed. And like I say, I was thinking, that's probably just as important as any talent you potentially hold. You know, it's just it's like they say, isn't it? You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the work ethic and you don't have the determination to improve and things, talent alone is never enough. So you could have someone who's less talented but has the work ethic. They'll go further than the one that has talent but doesn't work hard at all. You know, so the effort we put in is just as equally as important as the talent, of course, and it's a huge contributing factor towards any achievement. Because if you didn't push yourself when you felt you should, and you gave yourself every excuse not to do something, there'll be no tangible result at the end. You know, so maybe there's only half the content rather than all the content. And I just think, behavioral patterns, it becomes habitual. So you do something enough times and it just becomes standard how we create and, the processes. So I just really wanted to show people that side of things, really, because I'm sure that goes under the radar. The constant pushing and pushing and pushing. Like me, in honesty, with me, my mind rarely relaxes. Like, I'm like my own worst enemy at times. It's like an internal pressure that just doesn't stop. So I never feel, well, I won't say never, but I rarely feel at ease at any time. I always feel that there's more I should do, there's more I should be doing, there's something else. So, I'll still relax and I'll still enjoy myself, but there'll be a nagging feeling in my mind, like, you've just, like, for instance, let's say you didn't do anything that day and you're just chilling out, you're doing different things. I would naturally feel at the end of the day, like, okay, you enjoyed yourself, but you've just missed out on what you should have been. Maybe you should have been doing the other thing, and you've just missed out on that. Better get on with that soon. And if you do it all week, for instance, it's a huge um, feeling sort of thing of letting yourself down in a sense, like you're really you're not focusing enough. Even though there's nothing wrong with having a period of like change, there's a period of rest in a sense, resting your mind. But like I say, even when I'm resting, there's always this nagging feeling that's just pushing me and saying, you need to get on with this. And the real problem I got is that it's going to be forever, realistically, and it's not, it's not reasonable, is it? Because like I say, like I said so many times, I've got the next book coming, then there's another 2 after that minimum, then there's other books and manuscripts already started. So if you talk about book quality, book content is, it's a lot, and it just there always seems to be another one stemming off of it, if you like. So it's like, oh my God, it's relentless. It's pretty relentless. And then the video content, even when I intend to rest and stop with the content, it's, maybe if I got something I want to say, or I think it might help people, I'll go and record it, and it's like, it'd be nice when I think it'd be nice to have a period of life where you're truly in a relaxed state, I think, where like, you've done everything you need to do. Like, I keep saying, like, for instance, everything I've achieved so far with the 6 books I've done and the content, everything else is a bonus. And in some ways that it is, but it's strange that it doesn't feel that way either, though. Because if it just was a bonus, I wouldn't feel a drive to push myself at times so hard. And I have that nagging feeling because that's so unnecessary. So it's almost like maybe I've convinced myself in some way that is, you've fulfilled what you come here to do in a life in general, and everything's a bonus. But really, in the back of my mind, it's like, it's not true. You've still got more to do, and until you've achieved that goal, you don't really have genuine time to rest. Maybe that's the driving force that pushes me on, But then it does beg the question, doesn't it? Like, will that pressure ever subside? Like, will you ever feel enough is enough? And I actually don't think I will. And in some ways, I think, you'd say it's unreasonable, but then you've got to think anyone that's successful, especially with sustained success, or you've done something over a long period, you think, I'm sure they had that nag too. And it's sort of like what's going to create what needs to be created, because everybody lives with a level of temptation in their life and something that's pulling you back and telling you relax or do this or do that. And again, you don't achieve anything then, do you? So the success really comes off the back of the fact that you're so determined and your work ethic so high, and that drive and will to succeed, which again is just as important as any talent you hold. Because if someone said, "Just relax, don't push yourself too much at the moment, just enjoy yourself," that's how they would behave in a circumstance. But maybe their goals in life are slightly different. And like I say, it's the thing that driving force is the thing that ultimately make lead to the breakthrough. And there's an inherent understanding that life is relatively short. It's not as long as I think people perceive. You can't guarantee any time. So, I tend to do a book a year, and I've got minimum of 3 more left, plus others. And it just, again, you start looking at your age. I'm 42, so my 7th book will come out this year, 42, and I'm not going to start doing incredible maths with all this nonsense, but it's just you add another 8 or so to make me 50 on top of the 7. It's weird numbers, so I'm going to get confused. Maybe 15, is it? I don't know. I think it would take you to 15 potentially by the time you're 50. If you did one a year, of course. Doesn't mean that's always going to happen, because I'm hoping at some point I've done enough book content and other opportunities happen where it excites you because it's new avenues and there's new things to sort of like wake up for. Maybe it changes your schedule, your habits, and it's just a new chapter of life. That'd be really cool. Because, but where I am at the moment, I'm in this other creative mode. And like I say, my sleep schedule's all over the place at the moment. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing at the present state. But yeah, it's just weird that when you're tired, you're not resting. But of course, there's a need to take care of yourself. But I don't feel like I'm pushing myself over the edge. That's the other thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm at burnout in that sense. I know what that feels like. This is just a weird schedule. You just sleep at a different time to most people, I think. My sleep pattern's out. That's all. But it's just a bit unfortunate that you just. I think it's just that it's that annoyance that you just can't enjoy the little things. I think in the same way the average person would at the moment. But then, like I said, I think that's potentially what's leading you or leading me to a potential breakthrough. And even if you don't get the breakthrough, forget the breakthrough. It's what's leading sort of the growth with the content. It's like the amount of videos I've done in such short succession. I've only really focused on YouTube, for instance, for the past maybe 3 months or so. I was on TikTok for a long time, and it's like thousands of videos. You don't even think of it like that, but there is. And I think I'm up to about 500 and something videos on YouTube, if I've got that right. And that's only in a very short period of time. Now, some of the videos, of course, are older ones, so there's some there. But I'm not sure how many I've added since, but it's still going to be very, very high amount on a regular basis. Like normally you'd say, and I think some people would be happy with 3 videos a week and things. I think I do like 2 a day on average. I think. I'm not sure. It's too much. It is going to slow down because I want to focus on the books. And I said that, but I just had this feeling that I need to do these shorts, and that's really annoying for me because I actually sometimes resent doing that because I don't like the idea that I have to consolidate my content for a different audience who maybe don't have the same attention spans. But then you think, if it's the only way you're going to reach them, and if it helps just one person, just nudges them in some way. Because, like, for instance, one of the videos I've got to do is cut part of what I did. I think I don't know if it's earlier or yesterday, and it was about your child. Like, you might not be happy now, you might feel frustrated, but like, if you think of where you are now, you've fulfilled a lot of the dreams you had as a child. I did a video about that recently, and I think that was just maybe a couple of videos ago. And I want to edit the sections of that to get that. And hopefully that one little message in there will be enough to make people reflect on their life and just have that immediate impact, That's what I'm hoping. And I think in that sense, it's worth the time and effort to create, isn't it? But yeah, I could be doing more enjoyable things, sure. And it's just, that's what I'm getting at. And it's not just today, this is like continual. And it's only because I'm tired and it seems like a graft. I know it's not like overly complicated, but it's still a time resource. And you just realize, and it just made me just look and think in general, like, it's always like this though, isn't it? And yet you struggle for growth, like in terms of the content, in terms of um, expansion, really. But you do it anyway. And that's what I'm getting at. That's where I was at. It was kind of like, even I was reflecting to myself, like, yeah, like you put yourself under this pressure to do that. And yeah, obviously anything you do is contributing towards potential success. So of course, it makes sense to do it. And then you have that little realization, go, yeah, that's all potential. But right now, it's not getting me anywhere. And it stands to reason, really, based on current patterns, that if you create these videos and you've got to do it for a while through the night, it's all for nothing effectively because no one's going to see it anyway. And you think, and that demoralizes a little bit, doesn't it? Because you think, oh, yeah, but we're doing it anyway. And it's like, you know what I mean? See, like, you have to be your own cheerleader in a way, motivator, all sorts of things. And that's literally what I have to do. So the point really there again is, if you're successful in the future, it's just recognize that it took the work. So if someone else sees it, so if you're in that position where you're doing it, you deserve the success that comes, aren't you? Because you're the one that's been doing it, even if it went under the radar. In the same way for me, you know, if success comes, someone might think, oh, it comes easy for them. Comes easy for them. How is any of this easy? It's easy to sugarcoat things and paper over other people's success and not really realize how challenging it was through very heavy moments. And when other people maybe chose to take a distraction or they chose to do something else with their time, you're there constantly working when one avenue or another, you know. So if I'm not writing my books, I'm recording a video. If I'm not recording a video, I'm recording an audio book. You know, it's like there's always going to be something going on, and it's just frustrating. Now that's not all the I'm not like that all the time. I don't just work. Don't get that twisted. But it's just what I'm saying there is that the periods when I'm not doing that, I don't truly get to relax and enjoy it 100% because there's a nagging feeling that I should be doing that. So it's like you're not even ever really in a total place of rest. There's always a pressure. And that's something that I need to, I think, learn to dissipate. It's something I need to let go a little bit because it does ruin sort of my sense of freedom, I think. And I think potentially when people see me react and I get really, really frustrated, that upon reflection, even just thinking about it now, it might be part of why I get so irritated and explosive, because it's like a fire keg, isn't it? All that pressure all the time. Pressure, and it's internal. And of course, once you're not seeing growth, success that you feel you've worked your ass off for, and it's to be a given that yes, this is good enough, and the work's been put in, that what more can I do? And then it just like fireworks, you know. But then after that, reset, go again. But I think that's what sets it apart, though, is that willpower, that drive to succeed. And I think that's the thing I've got to instill in myself in memory, really, is to recognize that. Like, if any success that comes, it's like you worked your ass off for that. Definitely worked your ass off for that. I've given myself a little bit of a pep talk recently, like just looked at my books and things, like in that video, for instance, and I was speaking to like my mum earlier, I think. And I said about like the efforts I've put in and things. It's crazy. Like maybe I don't see the financial success, and maybe I haven't had recognition. But goddamn, I've done incredible things. And I didn't. You know, she goes, "Yeah, you've done great." I don't think she truly realizes how much of an achievement it is, because you know she's not holding them all in her hand. She has bought them and she's been proud of them. But I think when you're holding all 6 in your hand, for instance, and it's like, this is incredible. But in life in general, people only recognize success when it's obvious in your face, you know. Only when you've got a flash sports car and you've got financial freedom and you live in a different life, they start going, oh, wow, they've done something. But it's like, you've done something way before that process. The work was already accomplished way before you see the immediate results like that. And I think sometimes it's like, we've got to give ourselves a pat on the back and cheer ourselves on and say, look, you're doing incredible. If people see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't. But it's really important we see it. Like, we see it in ourselves. And that's where I'm up to at the moment. It's like a recognition of self. Anyway, I just hope it motivates people really to keep pushing themselves when they feel a need to do something, because I know some people need a bit of a nudge. Not saying burn out to the level I burn out all the time and get to that stage, because I think we're all we all have different thresholds, to be honest, what we can handle. Some can handle more, some can handle less, but either way, it's like finding the balance, but not make excuses. Because I find that in life, you see people that are really successful and people get envious. And I think envy comes from the people who want easy ways out of everything. I think those that are striving for success and they're working at a craft, I think in general, those that have the right intentions and they're doing it, for the best reasons, I don't think they're truly envious people. I don't think they get envious. Like, I don't look on at people and get jealous of what they got. Sometimes I look on and think, well, it's not a jealousy thing. It's a recognition of my journey. I don't care what they've got. So it's not like I wouldn't wish for the roles to be reversed. I don't do that. It's more recognition of like where I am at and my journey, where they're at, and it doesn't. And sometimes it just doesn't seem fair. That's all that is. It's not a case of I wouldn't wish someone else's downfall, but like there might have been someone that I come across and we had similar followers or something or similar content, like in terms of the views and stuff, back maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And it might be like, oh, well, yeah, I can see them growing, but maybe they grow further than you think. And maybe you're looking now and you just randomly come across the content. You go, I'll have a look. And they've got like 300,000 followers. And it's not being rude, but their content hasn't evolved. Like, for instance, if it's spiritual content, they're just doing tarot readings, but it's the same tarot readings they've been doing since they were doing it before. And within the tarot community specifically, without being rude, a lot of time they don't get held accountable. So people a lot of time they can just do any reading. I'm not saying they're not doing the reading effectively, but they can do a reading and it's like, because people who see hundreds, they don't hold that person accountable. So if someone says that's definitely happening for you, that's happening for you, it's like no accountability. So you might actually have a tarot reading that really isn't really being accurate at all, but they're growing all the time. And it's like, it's just crazy to me. It's like, but again, not saying they're all like that, but here I am trying to push people's mindsets, trying to motivate people, I'm growing, I'm trying to help others grow while I grow, and there's no growth of my content, the platform doesn't improve, and it's kind of like, that's frustrating because I feel stagnated while other people are growing, and I just feel like I'm evolving, but then their content isn't evolving, so my camera seems to be going a bit crazy at the minute. Effectively, I recently changed the camera to 4K 30 FPS. It was more fluid at 1080p because it did 60, but it never had any glitches. So I'm not sure if I should do the higher resolution because I prefer higher resolution. But if it's going to judder, like you can't even maintain a freaking smooth frame rate, then I'm going to have to consider whether I adapt it back to the 1080p. So it's only HD rather than 4K. And it'll just be smoother. Because there's no point having me looking juddery, But again, me looking upon those sort of content, that's just me being honest, and I'm honest with myself about why I am perplexed by something, and it's literally just the lack of growth. The lack of growth, and I recognize sometimes the lack of growth in other people's content, and yet their platform just expands, and it's kind of like, this is crazy to me. But again, I'm not doing it to be jealous. It's just really, you have to compare to a level. Otherwise, otherwise you're not going to realize where you're at. It's just a reflection of where we are on our journey. So if you think to yourself, like, I think I'm growing, and you've got something to compare it to, so you can sort of like look and think, yeah, I have grown beyond that. So why am I not moving forward? It's just it's frustrating, but it's kind of like, it gives you, well, at least in my situation, it makes me still have confidence in myself, because I like I said about the success thing, what I do and my ability to process things and all these things, it's like the tangible success doesn't validate anything. I know I deserve to be doing more, doing better in life. And it's not for me to decide when that happens. It's the same with love, really. If you think about love in general, it's not something you can force or manipulate. You can try to, and it won't work. It don't work out very well. Someone will only give you their heart when they're ready to give you their heart, and someone's only interested if they're interested. So you can try and manipulate all you like, but effectively, it's someone's heart. It's up to them how they process it and what they want, and you're at the mercy of it, aren't you? It's the same with what I do. Maybe the world isn't ready yet. Maybe there's a time when the world is ready to open up, process, and self-reflect, and now you're looking for someone maybe you trust in a world full of people who are fake, and it's very toxic. And maybe at that point, all of a sudden, who's this guy? And he got all this content. Maybe that was the point. There's going to be a large amount of content. I don't really know why. Sometimes I just get frustrated, just like anybody else would if you put a lot of effort in and not got the results. But here I am, continuing to push forward. So as soon as this video's done, I've got to go and get on with some shorts. The frustrating thing with that as well is you still have to abide by the rules, if you like. You don't want to you don't. Like, let's say I was to edit 6 videos. It's really frustrating because I'm someone that would, if I've done it, I'd rather just post it. But you have to start. I don't normally schedule my videos, so my normal videos I'll just record and post. But with shorts, you're gonna have to go. Well, I'll post that one, and I'll probably set a schedule for another one in maybe 5-6 hours because I don't want them overlapping. And then you start setting them ahead of time, and it's just annoying because then you could end up having loads, and I don't really enjoy making them. Really, to be honest, it's more of a necessity in some ways. But anyway, sometimes that's part of the process as well. Doing things you don't want to do. Again, once they're done, aren't they? And they're on your platform. So I think sometimes it's worth just getting it done. Again. But anyway, hopefully I'm hoping it's a little bit of motivation for people, really, just to keep pushing forward. It's not necessarily just because you don't know when a breakthrough would come, but think how proud you'll be once you've got a substantial amount of content. Because, like, for me, I've got a lot of content and I'm proud of what I've achieved. So even if I stopped, I'm like, fine, I would be able to look back and go, I like that. I like that. You did all right. And I think that's just a good place to be. So you can't have regrets like that. You can't regret something that's outside of your control. At least that's the way I feel. So you can have, like, maybe you wish maybe this had been different. But it's not a regret. It's not a genuine regret, because a regret can only come from something that we have control over. And I can't control any success or lack of that I have. It's just literally, I can only create and be and do the best I can. And beyond that, it's out of my hands, isn't it? But I think if you knowingly hold yourself back, or you don't push yourself when you know you should, that's going to be a regret that lingers, isn't it? Because you could have done something, but you chose not to. There's no point living in potential. That's the way I think it. Don't live in potential, because if you just live in it, you're never going to get out of it. So you've got to push past that, haven't you? There's no point. Like, for instance, let's say I achieve success, and I've done multiple books, and I do video content, and there's all sorts of things. And someone might sit there for their whole life, go, oh yeah, I could do that if I try. I could do that if I wanted to. I could have done a book. You'll always get people like that in life who always do that. I could have done that. I could do that if I wanted to. But it's like, there's no point saying those things. You just do it. You either can or you can't. And if, there's no point anyone can talk in hypotheticals. I'm sure I could do that. I could do that. Well, do it then. It's just challenge yourself to do it. I'm not challenging someone to do it. I'm saying challenge yourself to do it. If you think you can do something, isn't it? If it's that easy. But people inherently know it's not that easy. Even if the ability is easy, is the work ethic easy? Because that's where you got to push yourself. It's a bit like people who go to the gym and they do fitness and things. Once they get used to it, the body's adapted, and your mind's got into a certain state where it's getting used to the schedule, the patterns, the behavior, and all that. So then eventually it becomes more of like a machine, automated. The beginning stages, yeah, your body just wants to stop every 2 minutes, not even 5 minutes. Your body says it's tired. You feel it because it's your brain playing tricks on you. Your brain will tell you it's bored or it can't do anymore, it's hurting, and you naturally that filters down. So you've got to try and train your body not to keep rejecting the exercises and things. It's the same sort of thing, really. So, if you start working at something and you think, oh, this is too hard, it's taking too long, all of a sudden you're just going to keep stopping. So even if you had a talent, an aptitude to do something, if you haven't got the right work ethic or mindset to achieve it, it doesn't matter how good. Again, we said that at the beginning. It doesn't matter how much talent you have. It's the work ethic that's going to drive you forward. So you can have someone that's less talented with a work ethic can be far more successful than the one who has talent and potential but didn't fulfill it. It's like, you can't make someone fulfill a potential, can you? And you can't force someone to invest in their talent. They have to do it for themselves. And that's going to be push yourself when maybe the odds are against you. push yourself when really you're not in the mood. But no one's going to do it for you. So we do it anyway. So anyway, again, hopefully it's motivation.